Humans have a deep obsession with the idea of rewriting history. The urge to undo mistakes, prevent tragedies, or alter the course of our lives has driven centuries of storytelling. In the early 2000s, an internet user named John Titor claimed to be a soldier from the year 2036. He said his military time machine was initially installed in the rear of a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette convertible. Decades earlier, rumors circulated about the 1943 Philadelphia experiment, where the U.S. Navy supposedly rendered a destroyer escort invisible, inadvertently teleporting it through spacetime. And in 1954, an impeccably dressed man stepped off a plane at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, carrying official currency and a passport from Tauret, a European country that simply does not exist. We pass these stories around as modern myths, but they tap into a very real scientific tension. The foundational mathematics governing our universe indicate that traveling through time might actually be permitted by the laws of physics. Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity threw out the idea of time as a rigid, universal ticking clock. Instead, it described a malleable fabric of space and time that bends and warps around heavy objects. If you have a region of extreme gravity, that space-time fabric can bend so severely that it folds over on itself. Physicists call this a closed time-like curve, a loop connecting directly to its own past. But creating this loop opens the door to logical nightmares. In a bootstrap paradox, an object travels back to cause its own creation, existing without ever originating anywhere. Then there is the consistency paradox. A traveler goes back and accidentally prevents their own grandparents from meeting. If the traveler is never born, they cannot go back to interfere, meaning the grandparents do meet, meaning the traveler is born. If the math of relativity permits these loops to form, there has to be an invisible cosmic mechanism actively stopping the universe from collapsing under the weight of its own logical contradictions. Theoretical physicists mapping out these temporal scenarios have discovered two distinct ways the universe violently protects its timeline from interference. In the 1980s, Russian physicist Igor Novikov developed the first defense mechanism, known as the Novikov self-consistency principle. To test this principle, researchers proposed an experiment using a billiard ball. The ball is shot into a time machine, emerges in the past, and rolls on a direct collision course to deflect its earlier self away from the machine's entrance. The physical outcome is that the universe only permits mathematically consistent trajectories. The ball will always strike its past self in the exact way required to cause its original entry into the machine. The implications for humanity are deeply unsettling. If you manage to travel to the past, your actions were already part of the established history. The universe enforces consistency by stripping you entirely of free will. If erasing your agency isn't enough, the universe deploys a second, highly destructive mechanism to prevent temporal meddling before it even begins. In 1992, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking published a paper outlining what he called the chronology protection conjecture. By observing the chaotic interactions of high-energy physics, scientists can model the extreme limits of these quantum environments. Hawking looked at a phenomenon called vacuum colorization. If a time machine creates a loop, quantum radiation travels through it, piling up on the exact threshold. That energy feeds back into itself, multiplying with every cycle. Long before a closed time-like curve can ever fully form, this infinite energy feedback physically destroys the machine trying to create it. The universe actively and violently opposes any attempt to warp time. It acts as a ruthless immune system, eradicating paradoxes before they can infect reality. These brutal laws of physics dictate why the urban legends of displaced travelers and vanishing ships must remain pure fiction. The internet legend John Titor claimed he avoided paradoxes because his machine operated on the many worlds interpretation, jumping him between parallel alternative branches of history rather than traveling linearly down his own timeline. But that science fiction loophole clashes with the harsh reality of our physical universe. Hawking noted that his chronology protection agency keeps history absolutely safe from interference, operating without exception. We are locked in a one-way progression forward. The mathematics of the cosmos ensure that the past is permanently sealed and humanity is utterly trapped in the present.